Hello, listeners. Hello, rollers. Welcome back to another episode of Classing Up the Joint. I am your host, Colin. I use they and he pronouns. And as always, I am joined by another fantastic guest I am so excited to speak with, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
What up? I'm Austin Simmon. I'm a D&D, TTRPG, social media guy, and then also a musician at the same time. And I'm excited to talk to Colin and talk some nerdy stuff.
That is all we ever do here. Austin, thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, we're super stoked to have you. And to start where I almost always do, how did RPGs grab you first? Did you have like a really amazing campaign when you were younger, come to it later, start during COVID when there was literally nothing else for any of us to do? What is the origin story for your involvement with games?
My first ever time playing D&D was in college. This is in 2000. I'm aging myself. 2013. And I just kind of did it. I remember because I had known about it even before then, but I just thought it looked cool. Like I was like, I don't know, man. Like the concept of making my own guy. That like I'm this guy, and then we with a team, and I just thought it was cool. And so I played with some roommates, and we did it for a little bit. I'm actually pretty. I don't even think that was 5th edition at the time. That had to have been before 5th edition.
No, 2014 was 5th edition, I think.
Okay,
so that was
I just thought I started playing the year before 5th edition came out, but it didn't last for super long. But I did like have a fond memory of playing it with my roommates when we were playing it for a little bit, and then fast forward basically over a decade later. What was the reason why? I think I saw online. I just started seeing it, like just D&D content, just like on my page, and then I got interested in it. You know how algorithms are. Like once you click on it on something
when you
once,
start watching
just start,
it decides that is the thing forever.
Yeah, and then I got just like super, I guess, just enamored in the concept of it again. And I've always been a storyteller and really into that as a kid. Like I would draw comics, and I wrote novels as when I was a kid. In fact, I've just finished a novel now, actually. Then we can get into that later. But
hell yeah.
And so just again, the concept of I'm collaboratively making a story with my friends is cool to me. So we started. This was in 2021, so it was a little bit. I mean, it was during COVID, but the tail end.
Yeah,
and we've been kind of doing it ever since. Live plays. I just got into making content around it last summer. Yeah.
What prompted the transition from like I want to play and I want to do some actual plays, do my own thing, collaboratively tell stories, to starting a what we can call D&D talk channel? Because to me, when I look at that, I feel like it's a very different kind of storytelling, right? You're still depending on how you engage with that content. It's like I can tell a story to my invisible audience where I can say, this is the reality of being a horny bard in a world where no one actually is horny, or that kind of thing, versus DM advice and the mechanics of the game and kind of tips and tricks sort of thing. I think that was a long-winded way of like what prompted the content creation journey for you, and do you feel like you're still like telling the stories that you're excited about in that way?
Yeah, I mean, so real quick before I get into it, I will say that the content creation part of it has made me enjoy the live plays even more. But
cool.
I think the reason why, and this is kind of just been how I am for my entire life. Like I have a hard time just consuming, because if I start consuming, I then want to be the producer. So, and what I mean by that is like when I started watching live plays, I was in like, dang, I kind of want to do that. That'd be cool. And when
Mhm.
I started reading comics as a kid, I was like, dang, I want to make a comic. That'd be cool. And so then the same thing with when I was learning how to play. Then once I felt like I had a good grasp of D&D, at least from its the core parts of it. I was like, well, I should
Mhm.
start I guess extending this and trying to and be a value to somebody else with
Yeah.
some of the knowledge that I have, and I already have social media experience, so it wasn't difficult to start due to being a musician. And if you're in musicians, you have to it's if you're a musician now, you have to be a content creator at the same time, or else you're just not going to be
Yeah.
successful. So I already had that background, and so it wasn't super hard to like kind of do both or transition
Yeah.
into the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue that like any artist now is required to have some amount of social
Yeah.
media
Yeah.
experience and success to that's where you get your art
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
into the world at
Yeah.
all. Horrifyingly. Um, and I think on the lines where you're saying like my understanding of sort of the timeline of things, like you had kind of already established a pretty significant online presence through your music, and then
Mhm.
adding this the D&D content to a separate channel. Is it hard to keep, you kind of created two very distinct brands that from what I have been able to find out so far, like don't cross over too much.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a rap about D&D out of you yet, but maybe that's coming and I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Is it hard to kind of separate the brand identities, I guess is what we would call them?
Yeah. So I have one D&D rap. It came out at the end of the
Okay.
year. And I haven't made like a bunch of short. I think I have like 4 short form content around that song. So that's probably why you
Hmm.
didn't see it, because I don't post it a lot. Um, I've been trying to keep it as separate as possible, just because
Sure.
um, like, yeah, the audiences can kind of overlap, because I do rap about nerdy stuff. Like, I make nerdy references in my raps. So, and I have
Uh-huh.
noticed that a lot of D&D players are also anime fans, or some kind of fan of something. And
Yeah.
I'm a big anime fan. And so um there is some overlap. And so that's why I did
Hmm.
make the song. But
Yeah.
I realized that it was just, if I was going to be as successful in both as I kind of wanted to, I did kind of feel like I needed to make them separate, because they were, even though
Sure.
it's both, even though some of the audiences can overlap, it's not so much that they can both be on the same channel. Basically, it was a
Yeah.
business decision,
Well,
really, if I'm being honest.
and I would imagine that different pieces, especially when it comes to kind of TikTok and creating short form video content, th- you are tailoring those things to two rather different audiences.
Yeah,
Even if you have some fans and followers that follow both, what you might produce for a music channel is like very different in its conception and execution than
yeah,
something for D&D.
yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
absolutely.
Um, wow. I okay. I do feel slightly compelled to ask if there's like a whole album of like going through each D&D class and like creating music about them, or it maybe if maybe that like I have a selfish desire to see that, and maybe the question is
Mhm.
like, have you considered and discounted that already?
Yeah. Well, I just haven't made an album in a long time. But I feel like if
Hmm.
I did, and if it was if it was conceptualized towards D&D, I would kind of have to do that. Because then, I mean, you have what, 13, 12 classes. You can absolutely make an album just based off of each one, and have
Yeah.
it kind of be themed
Yeah.
off of each one,
Totally.
which would be sick. In fact, the song that I did make was, it it made more fighter references than the other one. So that could have even just been the fighter
Hey,
song.
you
Okay.
already you already
Yeah.
started the album and you didn't
Yeah.
even know.
The song's called Second Wind. So I mean, it already
Uh-huh.
kind of works. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Awesome. That's super cool. I love that. Um, yeah, I uh there's a broad question I have about kind of just generally your experience within the D&D TikTok community, and
Mhm.
and it's broad because for me I always kind of wonder. I encounter a lot of really amazing, super nice people, and I am very firmly at arm's length from most social media. Like that's that Hannah handles that half of the role report very well. And so I'm curious, people that are much more enmeshed in those communities,
Yeah.
if everyone is as nice as I've found it, and if your experience has been like, oh, these people are great and welcoming and everyone's down to talk and the rising tide lifts all of our ships together, we all want to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you've asked that, because I was thinking this when we were talking about this content creation with music. I was literally going to say, I feel like my peers in the TTRPG space are like super supportive,
Mm-hmm.
more so than my peers in the music space. I mean, it
Wow.
is it's been awesome, actually. Like,
Uh-huh.
coming in, like, even, I mean, I still kind of consider myself brand new. I haven't been making content, at least in the D&D space, for a year, even a year yet. And I have met and spoken to quite a few people who are like pretty well established, and they've kind of have reached out, uh, given some advice. Sometimes I'm in a Discord with
Mm-hmm.
some other
Yeah.
D&D creators. And they just invited me. And like, I have not met one D&D creator that I didn't like as a person. So yet, like, they've all been pretty awesome, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of self-select our communities. I'm sure the stereotype old white guys who've been playing since the 70s and think that all goblins are evil and so on and so on.
Yeah.
They exist,
Yeah.
but I don't know where.
I haven't met. Yeah, I haven't met one yet. I haven't met him yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure
Yeah.
they exist. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. I uh I'm curious a little bit if I can imagine there's a sense that the music community is mm, maybe more in competition. And I say that like from my own experience as a performer, I'm like, oh, it's always an audition.
Yeah.
And everyone's always trying to like get the next role, get the next part, do what they can. And so I don't want to be like, hey, tell me all the hot goss from like the music community on TikTok and who's an asshole. But like, have you felt any of that? Is there a difference in that? I think the RPG community is like, oh, we're all small fishes except for Critical Role and Kobold Press. So we
Pretty
should
much. Yeah.
all work together
Yeah.
because it benefits everybody. And I feel like in the performing arts world, there's more of that sense of competing for the few opportunities rather than creating more opportunities for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty much what it is. It's a competition thing, and I mean, especially because I'm a rapper. So I mean,
Mhm.
rap is a big part of rap is kind of there's a competition
Yeah.
kind of undertone in it, and which is fine. And I have people that I collaborate with quite a bit, and I mean, there are nice people in this space, but you're just more likely to find people
Yeah.
that will do you dirty than I've seen so
Sure.
far in the D&D space, because of the fact
Sure.
that it's more competition coded. I mean, you are, at least when it comes to music, you are kind of competing with others for an audience. Like, I'm competing with a random person's ear, in their time,
Yeah.
technically.
So
Where
only so much time in the day
Yeah,
for people to
exactly,
listen to music. And you
exactly.
gotta, yeah,
Where
totally.
with I'm starting to kind of realize this kind of in real time, that maybe because TTRPGs are so like, there's already a collaborative coding with it. You will have to
Mhm.
play with other people, and the fact that this niche is obviously smaller than music and rap. That
Yeah.
I think that there's just a lot of, okay, well, if he succeeds, and that means that I can succeed, and that means that we all can succeed in this space. That's what I'm assuming is the case.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. Again, as like people with feet in both of these worlds, I think that there's an inherent sense of competitiveness, especially I think a lot of people in performing arts have been doing it since they were young. And when you're
Mhm.
young, you do compete. There's
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
dance competitions and the
yeah,
music competitions and for
yeah.
first chair of your symphony, whatever the fuck else.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, we kind of touched on this already, but like, are there specific things that you've been really enjoying connecting with the larger D&D and role playing games community through TikTok, through Discord, through other things? Actually, I remembered a thing that I wanted to ask as mostly a joke, but
Okay.
is your like number of Discord servers just ballooning insanely over time the way mine is?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in so many Discord servers now. So many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had to start like nesting them in places that
Mhm.
like I can't even like I think that's a grouping that makes sense. That's
Mm.
like all the actual play ones right here, and then this is
Okay.
all the writing ones. It's insane.
I should try to
Um
do that because
uh,
I don't know a whole lot about Discord. Like I'm not well versed in Discord enough, but I should
I
probably figure out how to kind of put them
I
all
will
together.
say this made a big difference for me. Like, small, not actually pro tip about Discord. The desktop app, at least you can like reorder your servers, and if you drag them into
Oh,
the same one, like you would
yeah.
on like your phone background, it will
Uh-huh.
create a little grouping. And I don't know if you
Dang.
can like label them, but it will create
Yeah.
groupings. Um, and you can right click on them and mute or mark the entire thing red and make the dot
Yeah.
disappear. If, like me, you sometimes have
Oh,
a
this
problem, like there's a dot,
no,
I
this
should
is
read
life
it.
changing information. I'm gonna have to do this like
Yes.
right after this because like I need to do that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh my God, it's been so helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah, to the actual question, are there specific things that you found like really enjoyable or really rewarding about making these connections and growing new friendships with people in the D&D community and the larger RPG community?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can say that I'm already kind of reaping the benefits of one because I'm in a live play currently with people that I met kind of through doing this. The DM of of my
Awesome.
current live play is somebody I met uh, doing, like, he found me on Instagram and then we did an interview and then we did a couple one shots. And I really liked the way that he DM'd. And then from there, kind of
Awesome.
we kind of made a campaign out of all that. So yeah, there's that. And again, just and like the helpfulness and the support that I've gotten from other creators as well. Like, I mean, just the simple fact that I'm in a Discord with so many other
Mhm.
people that are like huge, like Scoop Billy, I think is what his name is. He's in one of my
Yep.
Discord servers. Nerdcore. He's in one of my Discord servers. Well, he's in the same one. Like
Mhm.
just a few people like that, and like I see them all the time on my feed, and then
Yeah.
now like I can and I'm talking to them, and they're giving advice, and it's been it's been great.
Yeah. That's awesome. Are there things that you would like to see in terms of like growth or change from the community? Um, Again, not like shitting on people or like or I'm not here for the hot gossip, but like I think genuinely are there things that you've observed in your interactions with the larger community that we should be working on and trying to improve to make, keep welcoming more people into the tent and making it
Yeah.
better for everyone?
Um, the biggest thing for me, and I mean, and I do kind of feel like this is maybe an obvious one for me to choose, but I mean, it is true.
Mm.
There should be more diversity in
Hmm.
live plays. I think that the casts a lot of times are, I mean, it's mostly white men, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we need more. And I know the Critical Role kind of is they kind of fixed it a little bit with this new one, but I mean they could have done more, if in my opinion. And I love Critical Role, but they could have done they could have made it
I
even
don't
more diverse.
disagree at all.
Um,
Yeah.
and almost all of these super uber successful live plays that I see there just needs to be more diversity. And so for me, again,
Yeah.
because it's just hard for me to consume without trying to produce. That's kind of been my kind of goal, has been like, all right, well, the big thing for
Yeah.
me is I'm gonna try to kind of I guess I can't, if I'm going to complain about it, then I should probably try to do something about it. So that's kind of where
Sure.
my live plays kind of come into play, where I'm,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
I also want to, a big thing for me too is because I think from the outside perspective, where it's like, okay, if I'm getting into this as a black guy, um, and I see almost all just white males doing these live plays, I can see somebody being maybe not turned off, but maybe intimidated, maybe like, oh, well,
Sure.
maybe this isn't, maybe I'm not supposed to be in this niche. Like maybe I won't be welcome. Maybe this is just not for me. You need representation. This is the reason why representation is important. So yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. I'm thinking about in this moment there podcast that I've been listening to called Normal Gossip. Amazing anonymized gossip stories that I enjoy because I have no connection to them. Don't know anyone. But there was a guest on who brought up this thing where they were like, "Oh, I made a name for myself in like, the radio Twitter community because I called out this like, white woman who made a very virtue signaling like, oh, woe is me. I somehow can't find any non-white people to be a guest on my podcast." And you're like, bitch, have you been looking?
Yeah.
And to what you're saying, like but again, I completely agree. And I think that there is, actual plays that are like, oh, we looked and we couldn't find anyone. Like that's a fucking cop out. Where are you looking?
Yeah.
Like there are so many talented people that do not look like me that are eager and waiting and ready and just need the email anyway. Not even need like people that look like me should be doing better.
Yeah.
God damn.
Well, the thing too is
anyway.
Well, the thing too
getting
is
off my soapbox.
The thing too is like there's a massive benefit with, in my opinion, where if you have a table where it's like almost everyone is different in some way, I kind of feel like that'd be really cool because I'm bringing my culture in there. Like if you were at my table, like you could bring your culture in there, like somebody else. Like I feel like the flavor of the product could be amazing if it's like if you're just bringing a bunch of people in from like different, just backgrounds. You have a melting pot of just a bunch of cool shit.
It's bringing your background, bringing your lived experiences. It might have been Patrick Preeny said this, like, if everyone at the table looks the same, you tell the same story over and over and over again, and you never change and you never evolve. I would say there's a part of me that understands, Critical Role started as 8 friends playing around a table and got really big.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think they still are. So at the same time as I feel like I hope they feel an obligation to do better and to keep, being the standard bearer of the genre and have a more diverse cast. So I appreciate that they've kind of lead into that with the new season. And I'm also like, I understand and do better.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much where I'm at with it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, I was like, I see a slight pathway to more things. So, what I want to shift a little bit to is, how would you describe your TikTok channel to like a D&D fan or a game RPG fan who has never seen any of your content?
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to get a mix of education, kind of, and relatable content, and just you're going to be like, basically, if you go to my channel, you're going to be like, dang, I feel that same way. That's awesome. Or you're going to learn some things about how to build classes, and then also you'll get clips of the campaign. It's pretty funny, and you'll get entertained and educated at the same time. That's basically
a nice mix. What we all aim for.
Yeah.
So on the educational front, I feel like you and I share this strong opinions about the ways to have the most fun, not necessarily the right way to play, but how to have the most fun playing your games. Are there some practices or advice that you think every GM should be doing?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So in my opinion, I think that at base, you are not a good DM if your players are not having fun. Like that's just at base. Like and to flip it over, you are a good DM if your players are having fun. Like I just think that that's just at base. Like that should be the first thing that I think every DM should focus on. Everybody at the table should be having a good time because I mean, we're all adults. We have jobs, obligations. I don't want to come to this thing once a week for 3 hours and not enjoy myself, right? While I'm there with my friends. So, and then from there, figuring out ways to maximize everybody's enjoyment while sticking to the rules, if you can.
Sure. Are you more on the side of like rules have been written for reasons and we should probably stay within them, or like rule of cool, I don't give a shit, roll for it, that sounds dope,
Yeah.
or
It
somewhere
depends. I think for me,
threading that needle?
I was always like, when I was DMing, I was like, if the players are super creative with what they want to do, I will figure out a way to make it happen. Right? Like we can figure out some kind of way to finagle some things to make it work. That's how I've always been. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Are there things that players should be doing to make sure everyone's having the most fun possible at their table?
Yeah.
And maybe along those lines, are there things that you try to do yourself for your actual plays for tables that you're sitting at, where you're like, I want to do this thing because I know it's going to make us have a lot of fun?
Yeah. I think that really honestly, I think the players should also kind of have the same mindset. Like, I don't like, and this is coming from a person who is a min-maxer. Like, I love creating the most powerful character I possibly can, and then seeing what he can do. But I can't have as much fun as I possibly can if my other like teammates aren't also doing things. Like in this last episode that we have, it was a huge scale battle, and all of us did something cool. Like if I was the only one that did something cool, I would leave there I would not be satisfied. But the fact that everybody at the table did something cool and the DM enjoyed like the chaos that occurred, we all kind of left like super satisfied. Because that's the other thing too that I think the players need to understand is that the DM is a player too, and so like I try, not to interrupt during monologues because I know that that's like a big thing. Like when I was a DM, I loved to do the monologues. That was my moment, right? And then not being too antagonistic of like all of their NPCs. Like obviously the bad guy is supposed to be the antagonist, but I'm not like out there trying to just kill every single thing that moves. That doesn't make any sense. And then also like I will purposefully try to move the plot forward as much as I can because I know that the DM wants that they're throwing this in my face for me to do this, and so I try to do that as much as possible. And with that being said, I do think that it's advantageous for players to try to DM at least once. It doesn't have to be like a full campaign, but just get that experience. At least so you get like a one shot, just so you know kind of what's on the other side. Because then you'll be more kind of
learn to see through their eyes as well.
Yeah. And I don't know if that sounds like super metagamey for me to be like, if I know that I know a plot is dangling in front of me, I'm gonna take it. But like again, I'm thinking about the DM in those situations, and I want them to have fun too.
Well, and I would argue that it's not metagaming in this way. It is paying attention, right? I think there is sometimes a problem with players that like only want to be in the dungeon killing goblins or something. You're like, hey, but this plot thread here that's about like my player's missing family that he's been looking for according to the backstory that you wrote. And so I think that sometimes players kind of aren't necessarily tuning in. So again, I would say it sounds like you are paying attention and really, doing the thing that we were here to do, which is telling the story together and not making it all the DM's lift. And I agree. I think you say that the DM is also a player in the largest sense of the word, and in that regard, what do you think about DMs who decide that it is us versus my players?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I've had situations where I was in a DM versus player situation, and I hated it. I don't like it. Like because I mean, again, this is a storytelling system at its base. At least that's how I've interpreted it. And how can we tell a story if all of the writers are at odds, or at least 5 of the writers are at odds with the executive producer? That doesn't make sense. It can't happen. It can't work. And I've never been in a situation where I didn't have a good time when the DM was when I felt like the DM was on our side. Like, yes, obviously there's going to be times where, we got to fight the player's creations, but that's all a part of the story. And at the end of the day, if you're a DM that is supportive of your players, you can separate those two, I guess, phenomena at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a large difference between the reality of D&D and its, combat simulation origins. And as a DM, my job is to put some monsters on the board for you to deal with. And, what we read about in horror stories where you're like, oh, my DM walked all over my decisions. Everything I did had no consequence. We had 4 TPKs over the course of like a 6-month campaign. Right. I think there's a very different thing there. I have a nosy / kind of poking question, which is, in your DMing or playering, has there been times when you're like, God damn it, I'm annoyed at what's happening right now, so I'm gonna, drop a Tarrasque in the town, or as a player, I'm just gonna fireball those NPCs because I'm so tired of dealing with this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's those times when we have an idea or we have a plan, either as a DM or player, and it doesn't quite work. And then I'm like, can I just be frustrated and like wipe the board clean?
I've done that. I've done that quite a few times on both sides. I mean, not to the scale of I'm just gonna drop a Tarrasque on the town. That's crazy. But there's definitely been times where, like, as a player, I'm like, all right, something just needs to happen. So I'm just gonna do the most wild thing right now to cause some kind of chaos. And we'll see what goes from there. And usually, I mean, it calls for a good story. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Right?
Right?
Yeah. I think a lot about something my housemate said to me once, which is like, storytelling is like you have a guy and you chase him up a tree and then you start throwing rocks at him because no one wants the guy to just go up the tree and then nothing happens and he climbs back down and goes on his way. Yeah, totally.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your mid-roll. It is I, your host, Colin, here to thank you once again for listening. It is so nice and so important, and it feels so good that you are here with us. And also to remind you that if you never want to hear me say that again, if you just are excited about the show, if you love what we're doing, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/therollreport, where also, for as little as a single $1 a month, you can submit questions for our interview guests. Only our friends and supporters on Patreon can submit questions, and only they will get to hear the answers. We've got some really incredible guests coming up as usual, and if you want to hear their answers to your questions, head on over to Patreon. Also, you can follow us on social media. We are at The Roll Report Cast on Instagram and TikTok, and now on Blue Sky. Ooh. Follow us there for announcements about upcoming guests once they have been booked, and then you will find out if you have interesting and amazing and unusual questions for all of them. But thank you so much for listening. That's really all. We are so grateful you're here with us and hope you are enjoying this episode. Back to the show.
I wanted kind of open the question a little bit more of like, are there other systems that you've played that you've enjoyed as much or more than D&D?
So I'm not super well versed with other systems. I have played Kids on Bikes, and I did enjoy it. That was fun. That was fun to play. But I'm gonna be honest. I think that was the only other one that I played, other than D&D. I would be open to playing others. Like Daggerheart does look really cool, so I would play that. But I haven't really had the opportunity to play anything else. I know that like I made a video about Pathfinder on my TikTok, and it basically was kind of where I was like, yo, Pathfinder enthusiasts have to stop going on D&D influencers pages and talking about, like, I'm here to talk about D&D. Like, I'm not here like, and I'm talking about, and it's not even like where I'm complaining about D&D. I'm saying something good about like something that I did, and you're still talking about, like, I don't, like, that's just not the time and place. Like, oh, it makes me so bad. And so it almost turns me off of it. But at the same time, like, I have also seen videos that where they're just off of curiosity to see like the differences between the two, and it does look cool. But man, some of these comments make me not want to play it.
Right. I well, and actually, I'm curious if elements of it feel similar to like that very first campaign back from 2013, because my understanding is if you guys were kind of at 3.5 D&D at that point, that is like kind of where Pathfinder directly traces its roots to.
Okay.
But I don't know, and I don't know if that's also 13 years ago, and like looking at Pathfinder now might be a totally different beast.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I've never played it, and my whole thing though is I've seen or heard that there was a lot more, maybe not a lot more, but more customization with some of the classes, and I do love like one of my favorite things to do in D&D is just making a guy. Like the building a guy process is awesome to me. So that is appealing. But I think if I had to pick, like if someone at my table was like, okay, we have to pick something that's not D&D next, what do we want to do? I would probably pick Daggerheart just to see what it's like. Because it seems cool from a storytelling perspective.
Well, one of the things that I appreciate about it a lot is there is some more explicit mechanics built in to aid your party members, especially in combat, right? And the way D&D's action economy is built, that's like not quite as much the focus. But Daggerheart, these things like tag teams and a couple other mechanics that are like very explicitly, I am going to spend a resource I have and make whatever my teammate does way cooler.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Because you're right. A lot of D&D's kind of, you're right. The action economy is, you can't you can't tag team a move, and I want that so bad. I've thought about that before. Like that, I'd be so sick if like two marshals could get together and do like a move together. Like right? Yeah, we don't have that. Yeah.
I guess. Well, I mean, I guess they. I haven't looked into it a ton because I'm like feeling reluctant and annoyed. But I think that's what they're kind of trying to do with the circle casting feature now. Like whatever this thing is that like lets multiple spellcasters combine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I was like, took one look and was like, this looks too complicated and annoying, and I don't want to learn it.
Yeah, I'm pretty much. I was the same way because at the same time, because the reason why I brought up Marshall specifically is because I know about circle casting. And the moment that I saw that, I was like, bro, like there's a whole like discourse about the fact that there's a huge caster Marshall divide. So why couldn't you just give Marshall this one thing? Yeah. Like, or at least if you're going to do circle casting, do a tag team move at the same time so that both sides can have something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like, I think the classic one is like, oh, can the Goliath chuck the halfling, rogue into the thing or whatever?
Yeah.
I would love to see D&D like more concretely create some mechanics and rules around how you would do something like that. And yeah, so that all that by way of saying Daggerheart does a little bit of that. My other favorite thing about it that I would mention is they very specifically in character creation, you have specific questions to answer about your background that, are like, who the hell is this person that you're trying to play? Give us some experience about them. As well, there are specific questions you are supposed to ask of the rest of your party and have answered by your party. So they really built in, they build in like you should have connection to these people, even if you all just meet in a tavern or whatever. Our classic intro is, these people and you have some connection that you've already established in your history.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I think it does those really, really well. I thought I had a transition, but I don't. I'm gonna wrench us to some other things, and talk about I think it's time to be like, tell me about all your cool actual plays and the ones that is coming up,
nice.
so we can And we will, of course, have links in the show notes and all the things so people can find it without needing to like rewind and listen to us a million times, although they can.
Yeah, do so. Do it.
Yeah,
Might as
yeah,
well.
yeah. We're worth
Yeah.
listening to most of the time.
Yeah. So the current campaign that I'm in is a collaborative campaign between my channel and Chilling in the Party, and they're basically another set of, so like most of the people at my table are Black. My DM is basically all of us except for the DM. But then Chilling in the Party is an all Black kind of live play, and they talk about video games, and it's just a nerdy channel. But they also play D&D. And Clarkson Rex and Al and Chance. Oh, Chance is not Black, so we basically had them and then us kind of grab some of our people and some of their people and do a collaborative D&D campaign, and it's been going really well. It's called The Great Expanse, and the premise or the setting is in current day New York, or it's a little bit in the future New York, but there was like a situation during 2020 or the year 2000 where like a bunch of magical beasts and just magical species kind of came into Earth, and now we're kind of dealing with that basically, and they've kind of integrated into normal society, and so it's a really cool concept, and like this is basically just like fantasy but mixed with current day living. And so it's pretty sick.
Did y'all kind of do the world building and creation of this story and premise together before the campaign started? Like how did that work for y'all?
Yeah, so Clark had the concept already made because he was going to do it in a different, like he already had the campaign made because he was going to do a live play in a different situation, but it kind of fell through. And so when I reached out to him, he was like, "Oh, I actually have this. Would you be interested in this?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is amazing."
Yeah, totally.
But then as far as like backstories and kind of fleshing out some things, that was where the collaborative process came in. Like he messaged all of the players individually because we made it purposefully so that we didn't, like, I didn't know some of the other characters before going in. Like legitimately, I had nothing. I knew nothing about them going in, which was pretty cool.
Cool.
But with the separate like DMing the DM, we were able to kind of help him kind of fill in some gaps in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I also because I feel like it's something that happens with that kind of version of fantasy. I'm curious if this is not spoilering things. Like, what I feel like happens in fantasy of this nature is it can do this thing where suddenly all humans are no longer racist; they're speciesist against the fantasy races or fantasy species.
Yeah.
And I think my question is just like I'm curious how y'all chose to handle that in world, or if we're like no, the world just kind of keeps going. Humans are all still as terrible and brilliant and amazing and awful as they might be. There just also happens to be elves and dwarves and hobbits and whatever else we put in here.
Yeah, that pretty much is what it is. It's pretty much the humans are still what we are, and then
problematic.
But, yeah, exactly. And but now there's what we kind of did is we kind of mixed in like the stereotypical like where we think certain species would incorporate. So like orcs and goblins are kind of in disenfranchised areas. Like my character, his adopted father is an orc, and it I don't know, it just works really well. And my whole thing was trying to prove now that my character's adopted father was a good person, even though he was an orc. And so like elves kind of are in more like affluent areas, and so it's just stuff like that. Yeah.
again, if this is like a weirdly personal thing, like feel free. I think I'm curious, like if what you have done, what y'all have done at that table touches on life experiences and themes that become like a personal and hitting very close to home, and how y'all are able to navigate that. If so, is that a like, let's stop the table, everybody take a minute if we need to, or and aftercare after recording kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, we haven't. Well, we haven't had an experience like that so far, and things have gotten real.
Sure.
There's been definitely some
I
tragedies.
think we all hope that of our games, because that's the juicy stuff. That's like the really good meat and bones of the story.
Like there's definitely been some tragic moments for sure. But I think going in, we kind of knew. I knew Clark's DMing style, and he builds off of tragedy, and kind of from there, then we rise up from there. So right now we're kind of in the we're in the low stage, but yeah.
Okay. Well, and just so I write it down, our listeners know, where can people watch The Great Expanse? Which channels on what is your sort of broadcast schedule?
Yeah, so it's on. It's actually, so for this one, it's on my music channel. I'm trying to see like if I can, like, so this is the only place where I have all of my like D&D and music stuff in the same place as my YouTube. So it's just, if you go to Austin Simmon on YouTube, you'll see that The Great Expanse is on there, and it is coupled with my music. So.
So go check out an amazing actual play and listen to great music while you're at it. Why not? Well, actually, I guess incidentally, do you score the games at all, or does your GM have their own kind of music preferences going on?
Yeah. So the way that we're having it set up is, so I kind of have on my channel is the raw recording so far. And then on his channel is going to be like with more theatrical. And he's still kind of editing the first episode. We're a few episodes in on mine. So like if you wanted to just feel like, oh, I'm at the table, then you would go to mine. But if you want kind of a more big production kind of style, you would go to him once we have his out, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And if I was tracking, this is your newest, but not the only one you are or have been in.
Oh yeah. This is not the only one. So this is the new one that and right now this is the only one. Right, we had a live play that we were doing that was cut short due to scheduling. Which I know. Yeah. And so we had to cut that short and put it on break. But we're starting it back. Not the same one, but most of the people at the table, we're starting a new one back up in mid-May, and that's the main. Then that's with the main table. So like the one that we're currently in, obviously, is the collab with Chillin' the Party. But the main channel one will be coming out pretty soon. Right now, I'm getting the character art for it done. Everybody just made the characters, so now I just send it to my guy.
Very exciting.
He's gonna make the art, and we'll be getting that, and then I'll be using that for promo, basically.
Hell yeah. How has your experience been kind of creating and performing and directing actual plays versus your home games? If those are still kind of like separate arenas for you.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is you kind of have to know that people are watching. Like, and in some cases you
it's
gotta
a performance.
You kind of have to perform. They're like big. For me, a big thing is like not wasting too much time, like not having too much idle time if it's a live play, because people could just because I know me, if there's just a whole lot of nothing going on, even subconsciously I'll probably just switch to something else. So I'm pretty cognizant of that the entire time that we're recording. Where in a live play, I mean, you can, or not a live play, just, with your, just at a table, there's a little bit more lax. Obviously, you don't have to worry about much else except for just the people at your table. Just, are we all having a good time?
Faff around all day.
Yeah.
Totally. I think the if everyone's having fun, we have played a good game. I think translates really well because I think we can, as an audience, we can tell if people are having a good time together, or if they're like, "This is a job. I'm showing up because I got to do the work and do the thing." What is your favorite and least favorite thing about producing or starring in an actual play?
So my favorite thing is, I mean, just straight up playing. If I'm being honest, like I get to play D&D and people get to watch, and just, I get to and then probably my least favorite thing is like all of the technical stuff that I have to set up. Like I'm not. I don't know. Like and that's the same thing with music. Like there's a lot of things that you just have to do to make something successful that I just don't feel like doing, but you just have to. Like the layouts for how the thing is going to look. I'm not like I do all of that. So, and I don't enjoy it, but I know that I have to do it. And then also just the fact that I have to be cognizant of the fact that, we can't really have a whole lot of lulls. We can't have, all of those things are kind of, even though I know that that's what makes the episodes successful, I'm not, it's probably my least enjoyable part of it. It's just kind of, it's always in my head, like, oh, there's people watching, so I have to do, like, we have to be locked in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's a luxury that comes, I think a lot about most people that I know that are producing or making actual plays are like, we should not go longer than 2 hours.
Yeah.
That we should just, if whether we're live or if we edit, we should try to edit down to like 60 to 90 minutes. And then I'm over here going, every single Critical Role episode is 4 hours long, at least.
Yeah.
And there's a sense that that there's an indulgence to it, to really allowing role play between characters to play out for long lengths of time. If I have a question here, I think it's, do you consider that an extended role play between, let's call it just 2 of your characters at your tables, is that a lull, or is that something that might actually be worth indulging if you're like, oh no, they're really on it, we got to let this play out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, those are situations where you gotta let that play out. I'm saying like for me, when it comes to like lulls, it's more like, okay, if we're in combat and I don't know, a player doesn't know what they want to do, it's like, come on, we have to do something here, right?
Yeah.
Or I like, or one big thing is I encourage us at the table to not shop live, like we shop off camera because I mean, I just don't, like, sometimes it's just not, I don't care about like, it's cool for us, but I don't know what the audience wants to see.
Players love a good shopping episode,
but I don't know
like,
if other people
audience
do, really.
may or may not.
Yeah. So it's like moments like that. But I mean, the big like role playing moments, the big like character stuff. Now you got to keep those in. Those are good. Yeah.
Well, and I think as both a DM and a player have a kind of a finely tuned sense of both, when is that conversation reached its natural stopping point, and especially as a DM, okay, there's been 3 seconds of silence. I think they're done talking. I need to keep us moving.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you? Wow. Okay. I'm like, there are so many pieces of tech involved in producing an actual play and producing music. So the question, do you do all of it yourself, is a stupid one. That's not like where I'm trying to go. But I think like in the actual play, do you guys kind of distribute some of that? Like, is someone, watching the chat so they can moderate if need be, and is a different person like running the OBS or whatever, or Video Ninja, whatever the software thing is, and maybe someone else even is like done the graphic design to make the overlays and the things that you'll need.
Yeah. So I mean, I hire a guy for the thumbnails and characters and stuff. So that's that's accounted for. So that's good. And then we go live on Twitch, and so somebody does that. I pretty much handle the layout and the recording, and at least in the current one that I'm in, Clark does the editing for the big theatrical thing. So yeah, we do delegate. And then promoting, we kind of all just do it. But I mean, the promoting part, yeah, the promoting part to me, at least for me, I've realized that I can. I've learned that if you have a personality in social media, then that can help a lot. Like I don't necessarily always have to just push the campaign to help the campaign grow, right? For instance, MinMax is extremely successful, and all of those people were big, came in, and then they did like I feel like they would be successful even without like MinMax. The live play would be successful even without them pushing it because all of those people are big on social media. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so if you just have an audience, it should work.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of so at least for me, the promoting isn't like I don't hate it that much because I just have to just do my job and it works. But for the other people in the campaign, I feel like they kind of it is sometimes a struggle, and I have to be cognizant of that because I'm the only person in the campaign currently, or at least at my actual table that has a following. So my thing is just like, okay, just comment, or at least just like if you just share on your stories, I'm good. I can do everything else. Like, and I'm
the effort it takes to repost something that someone has already made. I'm like, I can handle that easily.
Yeah.
It's the doing it myself that I just put up in unnecessary walls too.
And the thing with me is too, I had to learn that there's this thing with human psychology. You think that everybody thinks the same way you do, and I had to get out of that. Like I used to be very frustrated with like, man, why am I the only person that is doing this? But it's like, well, no, you're the one that you have the thought process of being like the producer. That's not how everybody else thinks. Not everybody is content creators. So and not everybody wants to be, and so you have to like meet them where they're at. I've had to check myself that way.
Yeah. I think also it's not everyone has the same access and availability. I think about this when friends of mine that either share every hour of their life on Facebook or people that we probably mutually know that I'm like, you are churning out video after video after like post after post 6 times a day spread across 5 different social media platforms. And one of the things that I realized is like a lot of those people have a day job or a desk job that keeps them at a screen, where doing that is a matter of like, oh, I've done an hour of work. Let me just like pop over to Blue Sky for 3 seconds and whatever I'm thinking about will be there, And so there's people that can really keep up the volume because of what their day-to-day life allows them to do, I think.
And honestly, I'm in that boat because I mean, teaching, my day job is teaching. Teaching is a hard job, but we do have a lot of time off. And so I benefit from that when it comes to being a content creator. Like I can take advantage of that time off with posting, basically. But not everybody has that luxury.
Well, and teaching is fucking hard. I in the before times, I taught circus. I did after school stuff. I'm like, man, 2 hours with these kids exhausts me.
It is. It is.
I do feel like I want to ask if not knowing if you teach at a school or a thing, have you started like a D&D club for whatever age that you teach?
Yeah. Man, that would be cool. And I have thought about it. I have thought about it, and I probably will pull the trigger at some point. But it would be really sick. I teach 6th grade, and so like that's definitely an age where they could play. They could play. I could incorporate math because I teach math. That would be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, they might just try to murder hobo literally everything you put in front of them, especially like little boys. That is from experience. That's kind of what they're interested in,
and they would love it, and I would love it for them. So
awesome, amazing. Well, Austin, I think on that note, I think it might be time for the most important question that I can possibly ask.
Okay.
Austin, what is your favorite class and subclass, or
Oh, yes.
multiples thereof,
Yeah.
if needed?
Okay. So the thing is, if you would have asked me this like a year ago, I would have had a completely different answer. So for the longest time, up until I would even say 2 weeks ago, my favorite, up until the day after we talked, I would even say,
Amazing.
my favorite class was the fighter and subclass was the Eldritch Knight. Because my biggest thing is I love gishes. Like I don't know. Like I like to be able to hit things, and I want to be able to do a big blasty spell.
Yeah.
I like doing both of those things at the same time. But recently, I've been in the current campaign I'm in. I'm playing a paladin. I was forced to not play a fighter because I always play fighter. They're like, no, you have to play something else. And I was like, all right, well, what's the closest thing? Maybe to an Eldritch Knight. Maybe it's a paladin, so I'm going to do that.
Okay.
And I really like it. Like I'm like mad at myself for liking the paladin more. I'm having a lot more fun with playing the paladin than the fighter. I'm not even gonna lie. And I think it's like because it's already like it's already in there. Like the class is made for magic and for what I want to do. And I like tanking. They're probably the best tanks in the game. I can argue. Paladins are, and so it just fits my playstyle the most. Paladins.
I'm curious if you were playing with 5th edition or 5.5.
5.5. Yeah.
Okay. I also encourage you at some point to like play a 2014 rules, to play just a 5th edition paladin where you can smite every time you hit.
Yeah.
It's like we part of the last year has been like deep dives in some classes, and that was one of the big changes made to paladins is that in 5th edition it's just anytime you hit, you can put a divine smite on that if you want to, as long as you have the spell slots. And then it became a spell that you have to concentrate on, but you always have prepared, I think. Yeah, and a bonus action.
Yeah.
So the days of paladins doing 70 damage around at level 2 is sadly gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, like, because when I first started playing, obviously it was the 2014 rules, and I pretty much all of my experience playing was the Eldritch Knight and Warlock for a little bit. Warlock is cool. And actually, in this more recent, in the next campaign that I'm going to do, I'm playing a Warlock again. I'm going to give it another try. But I've always loved fighter, and I've also thought process was, man, if a paladin with the 2014 rules, multi-class with the fighter would be insane. If I do action surge and then smite on every turn, would be amazing. I can't imagine how much damage that would be. But yeah.
I have built a character like this, and what I would say is they managed to warhammer their way out of the inside of a Tarask after being eaten.
Okay.
And kill it.
Yeah.
It's a really well, and it leads to this really interesting, I think what I did, I went to 11 Paladin, 9 Fighter, because at 11 in Paladin, you get the improved Divine Smite where you automatically smite every time you hit. And I was like, I think that's going to be more cool than the 11th level Fighter feature of 3 attacks, because I can still then cast haste on myself. Anyway, yes, loads of fun to multi-class those things, I would argue.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I also feel like I want to ask what subclass of Paladin you have chosen, and if you have a current favorite among them.
Okay, so currently I'm playing Oath of Revelry from the what is it called? It's a third party. I'm mad that I don't remember the company, but I mean, he's really fun. and the concept is hilarious. But I think probably my favorite that I've like on paper, I just haven't been able to play it, is the genie world, the genie paladin, because I mean that's like elements big, like that's I don't know, like when I think of spells and fighting, that's the type of stuff I want to do, is big blasty kind of stuff, chaos. I also did, I do want to say this, I did play a couple sessions now that I'm thinking about it, of 2014. I was a Conquest Paladin. I forgot about this. But it didn't last very long, and I did not do I never got to experience like a smite on every attack. The campaign just didn't let me be able to do that. Basically, I didn't get the opportunity. But Conquest was awesome. I did like playing that class. He was super strong.
Yeah. Amazing, man.
Yeah.
Those were the extremely important questions. Austin, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with us. We will, of course, have all of these links ready and waiting in show notes, but where can people find you on the internet if they would like to?
Yeah, so I mean, just search Austin Simmon. It'll either show the D&D page or the music page. They both, either one is just Austin Simmon, the other one is Austin Simmon D&D. So follow both if you want.
Follow both. Yeah. Check out Austin's actual plays. Again, we're going to have links, but you were listening, so you hopefully know them. And if you like what we're doing, you can follow at the Roll Report Cast on the social media that we may or may not use, like Blue Sky and TikTok and Instagram. And if you really, really want to support us, you can find us at patreon.com/The Roll Report and throw us as little as $1 a month to keep the lights on over here as we might need to. And on that note, Austin, thank you so much. I can't wait to see the next things that you're coming up with, and it has been such a treat to get to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Yes, thank you for having me.
And until next time, rollers, keep rolling dice. It's what we love doing.